Today, I'm here with Marnie Levy. She is the corporate marketing and social media specialist for Delta Community Credit Union in Georgia. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Now, I've known Marnie for a bit. We share the same alma mater. Yeah. Apparently, I can't even talk today. We're alumni of the same school.
We are. Go Bulls.
Yes, and we share a lot in common. We both have a passion for credit unions and as well as communication. But today we're talking about something much more fun, what you do when that computer shuts down and how you get to recharge. I think so many people have talked with me about high performing individuals, high performing professionals, how they got to where they are, but they want to know like who they are. And so that's really the catalyst for this series. So we want to know a little bit more about you, Marnie. So I've asked you, I hit the microphone. I've asked you some questions. So I got a little sneak peek. I have to ask you this. This is so unique. You have been playing billiards pool since you were
Mhm.
8 years old. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I grew up down in West Palm Beach primarily, and my grandparents were down in Hallandale, which is near Hollywood, Miami area. And about 2 weeks out of every summer, me and my brothers, when we were much, much younger, would go down and visit my grandparents for a couple of weeks. And so my parents could have some kid time away. And my brothers are older than me. My older brother's 5 years older, and then the middle brother is about 3 years older. And we would go into the clubhouse. And probably around that time, I was 7 or 8 years old. And of course, them being 10 and 15, they kind of had an advantage over me. And so we just discovered the pool table and like this little private room, and they started playing pool, and I would watch and just picked up a stick when I was just a kid, and I've just been playing ever since. I love it. I have my own pool cue, and I go around Atlanta and try to find some of the pool halls here locally. And what's great is they're all non-smoking now.
Oh
So
my
it's
goodness, that's amazing.
yeah, so it's nice that that law had been passed for a lot of the bars and whatnot to become a non-smoking kind of atmosphere. So it's nice to just be able to go in, relax, not have to worry about all of that. And like your traditional pool hall of me growing up, were like the rough and tough guys and the smokers and the beer and all that kind of stuff. So you have this little teenager walking into
Oh.
some pool hall down in West Palm Beach, and they're like, "Who are you?" So yeah, I love it. It's actually a really good stress reliever for me as well.
Oh.
So it just kind of gets my mind focused on other things.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. This is so unique and so cool to think that of you as this little, 8-year-old kid and then growing up and playing pool. I don't know if I'm getting the name right, so forgive me. Are you like the Black Widow? Is that she was a great
The
billiards player.
hustler,
Yeah,
the
she
pool
was.
hustler. Yeah, I just play really for fun. It's like stripes, solids. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't really call pockets, and some people can get way technical, and I'm like, just hit the ball. Like, I don't care. For me, it's just, again, it's just a lot of fun, and I like to just kind of challenge myself. And I don't get to play like very often. So when I do, I'm a very competitive person by nature. So it just brings out that side of me
Wow.
again. And yeah, I mean, it's just great when friends come into town, or it's just something to do beyond just your typical, let's go to a Braves game or let's go out to another restaurant. It's just another fun little thing to do here in Atlanta. So I love it. Yeah.
Do you get to play strangers? Like, how does that work? Or are you
Oh
playing?
no, no.
No. Okay.
I don't think I've ever played strangers. A few years ago I had gone back down to West Palm to visit my brothers and family and friends, and there was some pool tables back in the area that they had taken me to, and there were some people around, and we played teams basically, but that was really the only time that I played with strangers. But yeah, I don't think I would have the nerve to walk into a place with my pool cue and just challenge
Oh my
somebody.
goodness.
Yeah, I don't
Come
have
on,
that.
Marnie.
I'm just not there yet. Yeah.
Are there leagues or so this is just or is this truly just, as you find the time? I know you have your own cue, so that's got me
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, I'm sure there are leagues. Again, I'm just not in that league. I think if I were
Gotcha.
to join a league, I think there would just be a lot more components to it, and rules you have to abide by. But yeah, this is strictly just fun, off the record, stress reliever. Yeah, so a lot of people, there are a lot of things that people don't know about me. So I'm sure you'll somehow, fish some things out of me, and that's
Yes.
right
You
now.
are
Yeah.
so fascinating. So I am curious. So since you're in communication, sometimes I am as well, use a certain side of our brain, but pool or billiards seems like it uses the math side of the brain. So do you feel like that you'd have to really look at angles or are you able to do both?
I do. I do
Wow.
both. Yeah, I just like I said, from being a little kid and just learning the angles and learning how to shoot between your fingers and what's going to work well on the ball. And it's a lot of it is science too. If you hit the ball a certain on a left or straight on or to the right, it could take it all different ways. So it challenges you a little bit. It's not just let's just hit it into the pocket, but like where on the ball are you going to hit? I would feel like it's kind of like golf, trying to get it into the hole, and there's just a lot of strategy behind it in your head, but you can't really
Yes.
explain it. You just
Yes.
learn it as years and you just develop kind of the craft of it. Same thing with bowling, if you hit the pin straight on, sometimes it splits the last two pins on the ends, right? So you try to get those first two pins so it knocks them all down. So there's a little bit of science involved in it. I don't know. I can't explain it. I just like,
I think that's so cool though, that how
yeah.
you can use both sides of your brain in such a really cool way. I mean, I don't know many people that could say that they play pool like that. So, and I have a pool table. I don't know how to play.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wish I had a place big enough for a table. That would be fantastic. But I think also I would get bored of it if I had the availability right here. And I think of it as a workout too. You really have to
Yeah.
be motivated if you've got the equipment in your house. So what's that motivation? But you can also get complacent and lazy at the same time, just looking at it, knowing it's there. And it's up to you on whether or not you want to like do it.
That's
So
so true. Oh.
yeah. So if any of your listeners are in Atlanta and they want a challenge, I'm here.
Okay, that it's on.
Yeah.
So we were talking before the show started about like especially how it's been kind of nice where you are in Atlanta, the weather. I think we share this in common where we like to go for walks or like to just be outdoors. Do you go for walks with your dog Chip, which I'll have to ask about too.
I do in the community. He's not really a good outside the boundaries kind of walker.
Yeah.
So he's gotten very good with leash walking, but I walk more around the community that's gated here with him. But on a personal level, I do go after I take him for his morning walk, and I do my walk about 6 times a week. S-
Wow.
Yeah, I walk about 30 to 35 miles a week.
Oh my gosh, you are amazing.
I just bang it out in the morning super early, just clears my head, lets me get fresh air, lets me get out of my place because I work remotely and I only go into the office 1 day a week. So when you kind of live and work out of your home,
Yeah.
you really want some chance to just get out, get away. And for me, it's just going for my morning walk. And it just helps me just kind of, I don't listen to any iPod things in my ear, just nothing. I just listen to like just the quiet, just the
Mhm.
quiet. Because when I'm home, I always have the TV on, or you're in meetings, or you're always talking. And when you're in social, you are social. So it just allows me that time to just not say anything, not talk to
Absolutely.
anybody, and just like listen to the birds, listen to nature, just kind of think about things in my head or just clear my head. And I just found as I'm getting older, it's really important to just take that time for yourself because for so long I had dedicated my profession to work.
That's
And
right.
now it's like I found a profession that can give me that work-life balance. And I just find that so important. And you really have to put in your time to be able to say that at this point in somebody's career, to have
Definitely.
just that work-life balance. So it's just not given to you right out of college. You really have to earn your keep. So for a long time, I was just dedicated to my craft, dedicated to my jobs, but I get to have time for me too. But I feel like I've earned that over the years, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, that is impressive how many miles that you walk. Do you have certain gear that you recommend? The like
Yeah,
shoes
I
or
have on my Fitbit all day, all
okay.
night. Yeah, I walk about 10 to 12,000 steps a day. And then I give myself either 1 or 2 days like a body rest because I also incorporate workouts and weights and just trying to build my strength as well. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I do. I try to average around 4 or 5 miles a day if I
Wow.
can.
How long
Yeah.
does that take?
I don't know. I would say I walk for about an hour, hour and a half.
Not,
Gives me about like a 3.5, 4 mile. And then like the rest of the day, I'm taking Chip out for his walk,
yeah.
or I'm walking to the mailbox, or you're going to Publix. So you're kind of getting those steps in like here and there, but you're not really like exercising. You're just getting in those steps. So that's kind of how I accumulate my last probably like 2,000 steps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am like you, where I also enjoy going out with silence. So that's big for me. I don't want to have music on or anything. I just want to hear whatever it is or hear nothing rather.
Right,
And
yeah. I feel like if
I,
I was in Tampa, I would be along like Bayshore Boulevard, or,
oh,
I always had lived like in and around the campus, which I can't even imagine what it looks like today. But yeah, so I'm sure there's like all amazing like places in Tampa Bay to get those walks in.
but yes, I need to get better at it though. You're inspiring me like right here, right now. I'm like, oh, because I put too much pressure on myself with like running. So I like to run and I love weights, but I find where it's like I put the pressure on and of like I must do 3 mile. I don't want to be like that, and I feel like walking is so like therapeutic mentally, physically, all the above. And running is too, no offense to running. But I feel like you're inspiring me to figure out how I can add that time probably in the morning to walk.
Yeah, and also like weather plays a huge role too. So you kind
Yeah.
of want to get out before, I would say I try to get out around 7:30, 8 o'clock, like the earliest, or actually the latest. It would
Yeah.
be later. It's gonna get way too hot. But yeah, I wouldn't say I put like too much pressure on myself. It's just whatever miles I get in that day. But I continuously kind of do the same loop. So I see the
Mhm.
same people along my walks. Like
Oh.
if I don't go, are they gonna wonder, oh, where's that girl that's wearing the ball cap and the sports t-shirt, like
Oh.
walking? Because you see the same people on your route every single day. So it's not only safe, but, I kind of feel I'm holding myself accountable a little bit to those people.
I
So if I
love that.
don't go, yeah, so it's just kind of fun I mean, I don't even know them, but it's nice to see the familiar faces. And there's this little old couple I pass every day, and they're just so cute. And I'm like, if they're out there walking all this, I can do it too. And there's just no excuses. So I just try to, put myself first, and health's important right now. So
It is.
I make that a priority as well.
Wow. I'm loving it. So you've got your watch. Do you do any certain shoes or like I wear one of those, I guess like it used to be called a fanny pack, but runner's belt is
I
really now.
do. Yeah, definitely for like cell phone keys, of
Yes.
course. I hate the rattling in the pockets. I can't
Yes.
stand that. And as far as tennis shoes go, no endorsements, but I wear Adidas for my walking. I was going to look into like other brands that are much, much more expensive for like good support. And I mean, Adidas offers that, but I go through tennis shoes really quickly with the amount of walking and working out that I do. I don't need like the upper echelon of a shoe, just something that's going to give me support in my foot and that just feels comfortable as well. So,
I
yeah.
love it. It's like, do you feel like it's like meditative? Like you clear your mind, you're physically, doing something amazing physically and mentally.
Yeah, some people do yoga, some people do the meditation. I can't just sit there
Yeah.
and just have that silence because then I'm going to get in my head. But
Right.
if
Yeah.
I'm out doing something productive, but it's still quiet and you're getting out of your head. I don't think I could just sit here for a half an hour and just try to clear my thoughts. It just
Mm.
wouldn't work. I'm too, I feel like I'm always going to have to be like, go, 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 go type of person. I get bored easily if I'm just sitting around doing a bunch of nothing. So that's why I get out to just kind of get that fidget off my plate for the day.
Oh my gosh. Are we like sisters? Because I feel very similar. So
Yeah,
you rescued your dog,
I
Chip.
did.
Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so here in Atlanta, rescue is huge, and I had two other Bichons before Chip, and I came across on my Facebook feed this other white fluff from Atlanta, and it just wasn't like the right time, but it was Chip at the time. And then I had reached out to Releash, and I said, hey, if another Bichon comes available, let me know. It's the only breed of dog that I ever grew up with. I know the breed inside and out, similar
Mm.
kind of to like a poodle, just non-shedding. I just know the breed. And this woman said that they had to take Chip off the website because the website had crashed because they
Oh,
just saw this cute little white fluff.
oh my
And
goodness.
there was an influx of people that wanted to meet him, hundreds and hundreds of people.
Mm.
What they didn't realize is that Chip came from, I guess, somewhere down in Tifton. He was about 3 with his sister, Salsa, at the time, so they were Chip and Salsa.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, and we didn't really know Chip's backstory. They didn't really know. He just had to go through about 4 months of decompression. He was very just either angry at the world or just a very scared boy. And the foster mom was looking for somebody that had experience with the breed and that had another dog or dogs similar to Chip in the household that could kind of teach him the ropes.
Oh,
And that's when I came along. And she had told me that, a lot of people had come with kids because they were looking for a little cute white little fluff
yeah.
and pull at Chip and pull his ear and pull his tail.
Mm.
He wasn't having it. So she then realized that he couldn't go home in a home with kids. And
Mm.
so when I introduced myself and kind of we had about an hour long conversation, we went to her house to meet Chip first. And then he came to our house to meet our boys as well. And it was just a very seamless transition for him, but he was still very gun shy. He
Mm.
showed us his teeth, he growled a lot. And I don't think people realize that about adoption and rescue is that, there is about a 6 month grace period for a dog to acclimate to its new home, its
Mm.
new surroundings. It's not just going to fit in overnight. So you have to have a lot of time and patience. A lot of people just return the dog to the rescue because they don't want to deal with their issues. And it took about 6 months for Chip to kind of find his voice, which means his bark. He didn't speak for the first 6 months that we had him,
Wow.
but he watched our other two dogs and followed closely. And I don't know, he just really started to adapt and come out of his shell. And I really worked hard in creating a very safe space, knowing that, I could look into his eyes.
Mm.
Before I couldn't even look into his eyes for 5 seconds without him growling.
Good. Whoa.
And today we have stare offs and
Oh,
he's a complete love mush. He has his own Instagram, followed
what's his
by
Instagram? We need to tell everyone.
they're at three Bichon brothers, all
Oh my
written
goodness.
out. And yeah, he's just great. My other two Bichons have recently passed,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
yeah, thank you. They taught him so much for him to be the adult dog that he is today.
Mm.
And I mean, I could just not be more like honored to be with him. I mean, he's gotten through so much just within the last few years of my life. So, I just kind of thank God for him every day
Oh
because
my
it's
gosh.
almost like that saying, who rescued who?
Oh.
I don't think I would ever buy another dog again. I would
Mhm.
definitely, choose rescue, especially in light of, I know during COVID, a lot of people had adopted dogs. And now that people are back to work, all these, poor dogs are being returned and given up. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of a sad situation sometimes when people, say that they just don't have time for them. Well,
Yes.
you signed up for that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I am such a dog lover. I love hearing about Chip. I've just always I've always loved dogs
Yeah.
and just I just think they're little angels on earth. Even when they do something bad, they're just the best.
Yeah, he's definitely like just such an amazing companion, super smart, very loving. I feel like he's like somebody reincarnated. It's just weird the way he wakes up and has his little routine, and he comes over to me in the morning and we have our little snuggle fest. Just his mannerisms. I'm like, are you a person? Like it's quite funny. But yeah, he's my bestie.
Oh, I love how
Yeah.
you applied your profession into your dogs too with the Instagram account. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, they are kind of like I don't want to say insta famous, but they've got like 6,700 followers.
Wow.
And I just share pictures and some video. I don't do anything crazy. There's been a few pet brands that have reached out to have collaborations, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I just kind of keep it going in memory of my other two. And then, for people to just kind of keep up with Chip and his adventures.
I just absolutely love that. This just sounds amazing. Another thing that I learned about you too is that you like massage for kind of just winding down, settling down. How do you feel massage like helps? I'm a big fan of massage. I feel like it again just calms your whole nervous system. I don't get massages nearly enough, but I very much value it. And I think that people often think like it's just something that feels good, but I think it's more than that and it's deeper than that. It's healing for your whole nervous system, which can get really fried when you're very busy at work.
Yeah, so I have been doing massage once a month since I was about 22 years old.
Wow.
Originally, I was a television director for about 20 years. And in the control room, you have to kind of hold your frame as you're punching buttons and directing. And so the stress on your shoulders and your trapezius muscles can really tighten up and start to seize up. My dad, who was a hairdresser at the time, had told me that he had this massage therapist in his salon. And because I had been complaining that, like, oh my God, it's so tight and I'm trying to stretch it. And it was just like a pain point for a
Oh,
lot of people in television because you're doing hurricane coverage or live TV and like your arms are like this for like 4 hours.
gosh.
And it's just a lot. You don't have time to just relax your shoulders. So I started getting massage and it helped kind of release that tension and that buildup of
Mhm.
stress in my upper body. And so I use it as that in addition now that I'm no longer a TV director, just maintenance and
Yeah,
like you said, just for your overall health circulation, muscles, if you're working out, if you're walking miles
which
and
you
miles,
are.
which I am. So it's just good. I don't really go to like a chiropractor because I don't have a need and I've never been to one, but I do find just massage helps me just as much. I found my girl well over 10 years ago here in Atlanta. And then she ended up moving to Seattle. So she transitioned me into this other woman that was there. And at that point, they kind of know your body. They know your trigger
Mhm.
points, what you need on your body. And so I had met my current masseuse, and I've been with her now for 10 years. And she's kind
Wow.
of massage therapist, and friend. So you go there and you're relaxing, but you can also kind of let out everything. I
Mhm.
think she knows all about my personal stuff.
Oh,
She and I go out and we grab dinner, and yeah, she's become a great friend to me. So it kind of goes beyond just finding just a massage therapist,
that
at
is
least
so
for me.
nice.
Yeah, I feel like I got kind of lucky. Yeah.
That is lucky. That is amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. But she has her own private practice, which is nice. You're not going to a spa, you're not going to a salon. She rents like a little space.
Mm.
She used to be with a specific
Mhm.
health area over here, but since then they kind of shut down. So she built her own private practice. And so I go there and, you just go in and, there's nothing around you. It's just us.
That is
So
so
it's nice.
nice. It sounds like it's making me live through your experience.
Yeah, I just feel like I said, as I'm getting older, it's more and more important for me to just take care of me and my health. Because, I look back at where my parents were at my age then. And I'm like, wow, because it's such a generational change.
Yeah.
I have so many people telling me, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way, you could probably re-enroll to USF and look
Mhm.
like a student.
Well,
Or, it's like our parents didn't look like what we look like at
yeah.
our age back then. And it's just very strange with like either the nutrition or the supplements or the skincare or whatever it is. But it's really, really wild to just like know the age that I'm at and like look back and see my parents at that age. And I'm like, whoa, like I can't, so I guess it's something you really have to kind of think about and you're like, wow.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think everything you're doing is keeping you so healthy. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just incredible.
Yeah, it's really important for me, especially somebody who's battled some health issues in the past and whatnot. I just kind of make it a priority now to just make sure that I'm putting myself first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your older brothers, and this is going to bring me to something that I totally resonate with too.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
wrestling. So I mean, I grew up in the 80s and I remember very vividly watching Hulk Hogan and wrestlers, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And especially it's really sad with the recent passing of the Hulkster. But I would love to hear like how was it in your life and what was that like to you?
Again, having two older brothers, I didn't really have an option. So I started watching Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling back in the 80s. It was probably when I was like, again, 8, 9, 10 years old. Era of the Hulkster back
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and Savage and Andre the Giant. And then, just kind of growing up, at some point I stopped in like my college years. And then after college, I just kind of got back into it to connect back with more so the middle brother who's more obsessed with it than my older brother is. And just it blows a lot of people's minds when they hear how much knowledge about WWE that I have. And it's especially good, in the dating world because you're like a guy's girl and you can talk to them
Totally.
about football and wrestling and they're like, who are you? And
Goodness.
really meet too many women that know that kind of stuff. And I think it helps me a little bit having two older brothers and having that,
Absolutely.
knowledge about sports and whatnot. But yeah, I would see a lot of the wrestlers in Tampa when I
Yes.
went to USF. A lot of them lived down in Tampa, in and around the school. I would see them walking in the malls, Hulk and Savage, and there was a couple other ones too. But yeah, with Hulk passing, it really puts it into perspective that
Yeah.
our generation and the people that we looked up to, actors, actresses, sports
Mhm.
entertainers, are now starting to pass. And it kind of makes you really think about
It
life. And
does. Yes.
it's a little scary, even with Betty White passing several years
Yeah.
ago, one of the Golden Girls. And it would be hard for me to like even fathom, Madonna and
Mhm.
I mean, we had already gone through Prince and we had gone through what, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And those were two huge 80s artists. But now, there are going to be some artists that are coming due and it's going to be like a hard pill to swallow.
Definitely.
Because it puts that into perspective of life and I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, wrestling's fun. It just kind of gives me a bond with my brother
Mhm.
and some guy friends that I have. And, it's just something to watch.
So who's your favorite wrestler right now?
Oh my God. The women's division has stepped up to the plate so
Yes.
much. And women in general are much more powerful and seen and looked up to.
Mhm.
And I really admire the WWE for allowing the women to really step up to the plate and be the main event and
Yeah.
show women that they can be strong, they can be beautiful, they can have a brain because it wasn't like that with us growing up. And
Right.
even in my profession of being in the TV world, I was one of only two female directors.
Wow.
And you were working in a male dominated profession,
Mm.
and you really had to have that strong sense of self.
Yes.
and not let anyone step all over you. And I've kind of just taken that into my personality, just moving forward. And sometimes it's hard to shut off, but at the same time, I really wouldn't change it.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
I think just having women in leadership roles nowadays is so important. It's just showing that we're just taking things to the next level. And it's great to have a woman in leadership with a brain and ideas and people
Yes.
listening. And yeah, I just, all over, I think it's important.
Absolutely. And so going into that brings me to like the social media side of things, how you're really carving your own path. You're handling social media for a very, I would say, prestigious industry where there's seriousness, there's risk, there's people's whole lives, are mixed in.
Yeah.
And then there's like fraud, and then there's, so many other things in the financial industry.
Yeah.
And you're really doing it. I mean, you're creating a voice for your organization so that people can find the right information. And I just think that's so cool. Do you have like a favorite social media strategy or platform or tool or
Yeah, I mean, I feel like working for a credit union, I'm taking care of members beyond their money. You have your general questions that come in and they're handled, but really it's about informing. And any credit union, obviously, as you know, deals with a philanthropic
Yep.
fund. They deal with schools, they deal with students, elementary through high school. We're dealing with HBCU scholarships for college. We talk about retirement options for the elderly. We talk about a 529 plan for families and parents. And so, like you said, it's from one end of the spectrum
Mhm.
to another. And we also have youth programs at our company. So I feel like it just goes so beyond just people's money as you're dealing with people's
Yeah.
livelihoods and their financial health and well-being. And part of my strategy is to make that fun and tangible without it being stuffy and without
Yeah.
it feeling like I don't understand what Delta community is.
Right.
So it's nice to put more of a humanized voice to the posts that I do. And each platform has its own kind of voice, but in all, through all the platforms, I try to present it in a way where it's, like you said, it's tangible for the member to really digest and understand and not feel so afraid
Yeah.
or confused, if that makes sense. So,
Absolutely. I think a lot of financial establishments outside of the credit union space, I'll say that because, props to credit unions because they just have my heart. But
yeah.
banking could be sometimes serious, stuffy,
Mhm.
unapproachable, using words that people don't understand, and offering products that people don't understand even why they would utilize it or need it. And credit unions
Exactly.
just break it down for people and lend the arm, no pun intended, but they reach their arm out and say, "Let me teach you." And I just think that's super wonderful.
Yeah, we listen, we're here, we answer, we comment back, we're not stuffing. And that's the voice that I've given to the brand on
Mhm.
social. That was and has been my main mission. And before it really just wasn't like that. It was just kind of
Yeah.
served up. And now I feel it's really developed its own. And I'm doing some new initiatives. We have a little pink piggy bank in some of our branches and some of
Mm.
our giveaways and things like that that we do. And I made a marketing campaign around this little piggy bank, and she goes to visit the local branches every week.
Oh my
And what
goodness,
I
how cool.
do is I help our members identify which branch location she's at, and I tell a little bit about the area, little factoid, and it goes beyond just the financial part, but it's
Mhm.
like learning the different branches of Delta community in all of our different areas and introducing the teams and different things like that in more of like a younger creative kind of way. So it's just not, here's this branch in Atlanta and you can come visit it. It's just creative, it's clever, it's kitschy. I don't think it's ever been done before, but I feel like I kind of gave Delta community like a mascot.
That's
So check it out on social. It's cute. It's taking off.
That is so cool to hear. Have you seen the Tampa airport social media? When you said mascot, I had to think of the
Yes, the
Phoebe the
flamingo.
flamingo. I saw the
Yes.
funniest thing this
So
morning. It was crazy. It was the page
what
was
it was
the post was all black and with white letters, and they even wrote, "We're writing that we're issuing an apology, very serious apology. In fact, we're putting this in black and white to show how serious we are." That Phoebe offered free airline tickets at approximately, and it was like whatever, 1:29 p.m. yesterday. And she's caused like chaos and we're so sorry for the riots and all this stuff. I was dying laughing. I just think it's social media is so brilliant.
Yeah, Tampa has been doing a great job. The airport, TPA, and I still call it TI. I'm never
I
gonna be
do
able to call it
too.
TPA.
Yeah,
Still call
TI.
it, even Amelie Center, I still call it the Ice Palace. There's just some things like
Love
the
that.
Sundome. I'm just not gonna not call it the new thing. But yeah, so Phoebe kind of is the mascot for the Tampa airport. Miss
Yeah,
Penny is like the little mascot. So it's almost like very similar in nature. And I think a lot of brands are starting to do that, which I think is like really cool because how else can an airport like present itself? It's got to
right.
like something like so Phoebe is that brand voice for the airport. So essentially they're talking through her.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of brands start doing that. And I just think that Tampa is doing a great job. I actually connected with their social person on LinkedIn because I just thought it was just so clever.
They are
Yeah, it's just
just
really, really clever.
they're crushing it.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, given I understand more about your wrestling appreciation, I hope, and I'm totally kidding when I say this, that we see some kind of social post with like The Rock and he's, driving down the people's elbow onto their, wallet. Well, something like that. Like something out there.
Gosh, can you imagine that as a spokesperson? That would just be my ultimate dream. But yeah, those influencers are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Per post and everything. And yeah, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think Delta community needs that. We're just so isolated here to Metro Atlanta. If we were more of a national brand, I would definitely understand maybe the need for like a bigger space or something really to like represent the brand. But honestly, we're doing so well here in Atlanta that I just don't think we need that. I think that sometimes the company you're working for speaks for itself and how
Mhm.
you treat your consumers or your members. You sometimes you
Yeah,
don't need all that extra fluff because what we're doing speaks for itself and it's word of mouth that is making Delta Community the number one credit union in the state of Georgia. And so, and that's a testament to us responding to those members, making sure that they're actively involved, treating them like a member and owner of the credit union and just not bypassing them. So, and just talking to them and hearing them, yeah, I
it's
think
so
is
important.
important. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Wow. Final question. Final question. What are some fun things to do in Atlanta that you just love doing that only maybe a local would know?
Ooh, wow. Besides the Brave.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, up here we have this really cool places called Putt Shack. And
Cool.
I know there's a lot of mini golf places and top golf places in Florida and even here, but this place is an indoor facility with four or five different mini golf courses. And
Wow.
you get this ball, and it's kind of like a Wi-Fi ball, and it's assigned to Jennifer, or this ball is assigned to Marnie. And you kind of play against each other and you tap the ball and each tap is one hit and it's just basically you're competing against that other person how many times it takes to get into the hole really.
My goodness.
And it's an indoor thing and it's like it's super cool here in Atlanta. It's really taken off and my brother had come to visit me from Florida a few weeks ago and I took him there and he's like, man, I wish we had this down in West Palm. He's like, there's no such thing like it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great date place. It's a great place to take somebody from out of town. It's unique, it's fun. And while you're there, there's, food and drinks and like you can really do it up or you can just go and play and not
Wow.
any of that stuff, but the opportunity is there. So yeah.
Not heard of that. And
Yeah.
especially the Wi-Fi ball. And I'm up in Atlanta a bunch or through Atlanta, so I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple different locations in Midtown, not that far, really. I think for each individual person that's here in Atlanta, they have their own untapped resource. It could be like a trail, a hiking trail. It could
Yeah.
be a cool wine bar, which I know a lot of here. Great foodie places. This is such a great foodie town. I just love it. I couldn't really imagine myself living anywhere else besides moving back down to Tampa. And I feel like if I did, I would just want to be a student again and work for the university.
There you
And, so maybe one day, but I think I would miss the seasons up here way too much. Yeah.
that's what
I love the seasons too. I can't wait for fall and winters. My favorite.
yes.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Well, Marnie, you are just such a delight. I always love talking with you. We have to talk again on here and we'll have to share some more. And
Yeah.
I just really, really appreciate you and appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. It's nice to see the other side of different executives and communication people beyond just, their title and their roles, like just really learning about the person. You never know who you're going to end up working with in this industry. So it's nice to have a little bit of a personal touch point.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Thanks for developing the podcast. I love it.
Thank you.